It's been fucking ages. I've made videos. As always, I've made a couple of videos. Not many, but I've made a few. I just never posted them. I made a review of Brave, which I didn't post. I think I made a video after that I didn't post either. Like, I've been making a couple of videos, like vlogs, but I haven't been, you know, releasing them because they just haven't been up to snuff, and I'm not the kind of guy that edits. I just do these vlogs, and if they become too ranty, I just stop. Man, I got this bottle of water because it was supposed to last me through this entire rant, and it's going to be gone in like a couple of minutes. I need to rehydrate. I've been out on a very long walk. I had a rough day in school. Okay. This video is just going to be like a random hodgepodge of shit. I'm going to make sure that I have to post this like now because it's going to be irrelevant in a couple of days. So yeah, first things first. A couple of movie reviews of stuff I've seen. I went to see 3 movies in the last couple of days. One movie which doesn't matter because it's a Swedish movie called Bitch Kram, which is basically a... Directly translated, the first word doesn't even have to be translated. It would be bitch hug, which is like... was this quirky Swedish film about a girl whose entire dream is to kick the dust of a crummy, like, small town off the heels of her feet and just go to New York, and then she misses her plane and she's too embarrassed to go home and lives with this girl she meets. And it was a very touching movie. It was a pretty good movie. It wasn't excellent, but it lived off its performances and did a really good job by that very nature. Then after that, the day after that, I saw a Bitch Hug on the Thursday of last week. I saw Paranormal Activity 4 on the Friday. Oh God. Yeah, okay, we're just going to work through these 2 other movies pretty quickly. I don't want to talk in depth about them. I don't have that much to say about Paranormal Activity 4. I guess to talk about this movie, I almost have to like just explain my standpoint on the other movies in the series. I like them. I do appreciate... I guess one of the reasons why I appreciate Paranormal Activity is because they're the anti-Saw. Like, you know, where Saw is this big... or was this big thing, rather. Which lived off its special effects. Like, its gory special effects. Doesn't mean Paranormal Activity does live off its effects to a certain extent. Lack thereof as well, but mostly on the fact that they do so little. But that's why I like Paranormal Activity more. Like, one of the main reasons why I like it is just because it's less. It doesn't try to be overblown and big, or... That's dangerous to say because this movie actually does sort of try to be big in certain ways, and that's where it really, really fails. Because this movie tries to... I went to see this in a movie theater because I've seen the other 3 movies. I haven't seen Tokyo Night. I'm gonna see Tokyo Night, which is the Japanese sequel spin-off to the first movie. I'm gonna see that eventually. I just haven't yet. But we're just talking about the American ones. I've seen all 3 American ones in the same way. I bought a Blu-ray copy of the first movie really, really cheap and watched it and found it effective. I watched it at home alone in the dark and I liked it. I saw the 3rd one. I rented the 3rd one, which honestly a lot of people don't like. Maybe because I knew the entire plot of the 3rd one. I had it explained in a vlog by Spoonie. Before I saw it, but I almost enjoyed it more knowing that. I still found it really, really creepy. And then I saw the 2nd one, and again, I'd seen Spoonie's review, or his vlog on it, so I knew the way it was going to play out. And maybe that movie I did not feel was as effective, but I liked it. I've liked all 3 to a certain extent. I especially like the 3rd one, because it takes place in the 80s, and it's about creepy little girls. It's in fact my favorite of the 3, I'd like to say, almost. Just in certain ways, at least. Even though a lot of people don't like it. In fact, a lot of people I've seen, like people that are really like self-proclaimed fans, think that the 4th one is like shared first place with number 2, which is ironic because number 2 and number 4 are the movies I like the least. But anyway, so you understand where I'm coming from. I've seen all movies and I like them. I just don't think they're anything that special. Or they're special, but they're not something that, like, if I have to hold up what I find to be the, like, modern day version of really, really good horror, that's not going to be it. It's not. It's not even close to being that. Like, for example, like, I think the modern day horror movie that I would like to point to and say, this is a horror movie that everyone who loves horror movies should see, that would be a movie that I just get really pissed off that I didn't even bring up, because I'm going to show you a pile of movies. After we go through the review of Paranormal Activity and Hotel Transylvania, we're gonna look at movies that horror movies that I feel you should watch in the month of October. Even though the month of October is almost over, you still have a couple of days, so the movies I have here might be interesting to you in a certain extent. I have a lot more that I love, but these are the ones that I now, after taking an hour and 20 minutes walk and having been in school for 5 hours, managed to pull out. I still think it's 20 movies, if not more, so it's pretty impressive anyway. But a movie that's not here, which I'm just going to mention before, because there are a lot of movies I'm going to forget if I don't mention them at all, is if there's one horror movie, modern horror movie, that I really would defend, is a movie that a lot of people don't like, but other people really love, and that's Cabin in the Woods. I think Cabin in the Woods is... It didn't catch me at first. I was sitting there like, why do so many people like this movie? And then it got to the third act, and I just realized, oh, this is why so many people love this movie. This is why I love this movie. So yeah, take it away. If there's a movie from this year, like last year, that you should see around Halloween, Cabin in the Woods is that movie. But yeah, Paranormal Activity 4. Without saying too much more, because I really don't want to be too lengthy about that. You can ask me any questions in the comments if you really want to know any more. I think of it. It is technically well done. It feels like a little. I don't know, this movie feels less thought through in a lot of ways than the first three. And I also feel like with the third one, the last few, really fresh ideas of what they could do scare-wise must have been used up or something. At least the people involved making this one weren't that invested in trying to reinvent anything. Because this movie's ending, without saying too much, this, okay, no, I'm not... I gotta say it now. No, I'm just gonna say this movie plays out too much like number 3. This movie plays out too much like all of them. You know how this movie is going to end if you've seen all these movies. And I have a friend who keeps saying that, because I hate that horror movies always have to end with the characters dying or getting terribly maimed or something like that. Not saying that this movie ends like that, but I'm saying that you know that the ending does have... And of course, it has a dark ending. This movie does not have a happy ending where everything's resolved. Because, guess what? This movie was out for 2 days before they announced that Paranormal Activity 5 will be coming out next fucking Halloween. So go figure. In fact, there's a post-credit sequence that I was literally in this theater of 500 seats, where I think almost every single seat was taken. I was literally the only one who sat through the credits. There were a couple of other people that hadn't managed to get out of the theater yet, but I was the only one in my seat waiting for something. And it was shit, but there wasn't a post-credit scene, and I was the only one who was directly sitting there, sitting in my seat to the end of the credits, and actually saw it, sitting down where I'd originally been sitting down. So yeah, there's even a scene teasing that there's going to be a sequel. Go figure. But yeah, this movie, the best part about it is probably the acting, because it does have a really solid family unit. It's about a girl that's 15 years old named Alex, who, best part about the entire movie is she's played by a girl named Catherine Newton, who I swear is the real-life human embodiment of Rapunzel from Tangled, and that's just bizarre. I just felt like I was watching, Rapunzel, my joke was Rapunzel versus the demons from hell, and that would be a way better movie. But yeah, she was great. She has a boyfriend in the movie that I don't know the name of. He's pretty damn good, too. The two main characters, the boyfriend and girlfriend, are really good. They're really fun to watch, and they do a really impressive job of what they're given. It's just like there's nothing really new, concept-wise with the horror or the thrills. The best moment in the entire movie is and this is not really spoiling much, is because you're still gonna be able to enjoy the moment. Is that there's a knife that gets taken away. Like, the mom of the family, because the whole point of this movie is that basically the boyfriend hacks into every webcam of every computer in the house, which is kind of weird. I don't understand how he does that even when the computers are turned off, or why no one in these families shut their laptops when they're done using them. I was pretty sure that was how most people operate when they use their fucking iPad, like, use their friggin', like, you know, MacBooks and shit, is that when you're done with it, you fucking close it. That's what I do when I stop using my computer. I fucking shut it. These people don't shut their goddamn computers, apparently, so they can film shit all night. Like, there's, and also this movie has the worst and best product placement of all of these things. Like, there is this whole thing about that, like a Kinect, an Xbox 360 Kinect, you know, apparently even when it's turned off, either the Kinect is turned on all night. Like, if you shut off the lights and you have a camera with IR activated in it, you can catch like all the you know, the little red dots, like all the IR sensors. Like the Kinect shoots out all, like, basically the Kinect, I guess, works like a scanner at a shop, like a food store, like a grocery store. It shoots out all these red beams, all capture points all over the room, and that's what it uses to capture your motions. And apparently, if you have if you have the Kinect on and you turn off the lights and bring out a camera with night vision, you can see all the little dots. Oh fuck! Oh god, no! Why does that have to be something I figure out now? I just put away my Call of Duty night vision goggles. Fuck, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. I wanted to see if this thing works. But then again, my Kinect is is disconnected as well. I'm just gonna have to find the answer on the internet and see if this works. I really wanted to try it out. But they use this technology thing way too early, and they come back to it way too often. They use the Kinect throughout the entire movie to see weird things happening in the living room. And I'm just asking, why is the fucking Kinect on in the middle of the night? Why is there where is this camera that's capturing the Kinect, and how can it film all night without filling up its hard drive or whatever you're recording stuff on? Like, there are weird things here, and you can probably find answers. I just feel like it's a little stretched. It's a little stretched. Why people don't close their laptops? Why there's a camera in the living room? And why the mom's computer is still folded up, and on the counter in the kitchen. I don't know. I'm not going to speak too much more about that, but I just feel like this movie's going through the motions. It doesn't have anything really new to contribute, and that's the dangerous part. It feels kind of predictable, and I have to say it's a complete and utter failure, because I saw it in the movie theater. You know, there are two kinds of people who go to see these movies, or actually I guess three. They're the people like me that are just fucking stupid. The people that take their girlfriends there to, you know, have the girlfriends hug up to them and be like, oh my god, it's so scary! And then there are the girls who go with their girlfriends with one fucking thing in mind, which is, I want a reason to yell as loud as I can! Ah! Which happened a lot, but then my ears were not, but if I got one of those people next to me, I would have fucking died. I swear I would have fucking had to leave the theater or something. But luckily, it's like, if you buy tickets in advance, those people don't think ahead and don't buy tickets in advance. So all the good seats are taken by the people who are actually there to see the movie. Thank God. But yeah, I think that's what I have to say about Paranormal Activity 4, is that it follows in line way too much with the other movies. It's predictable. It got creepy every once in a while, and like, as I told you, there's a scene where a knife is taken away by the mom and the family. Like, the mom of the family has a knife stolen by Toby, the demon from all the other movies, and they spend like this camera, like the camera has some crap on it or something. This knife, you know, lingers with its. Like, this knife is gone for a while, and like, you're really sitting there wondering, oh my god, when the fuck is this knife gonna reappear? I was sitting there like, please don't drop that fucking knife in someone's head. I don't want to see that. I really don't want to see anyone get a knife. Like, it's a big ass butcher knife. The mother even comments on earlier, like, Mom is cutting up vegetables with an unnecessarily huge knife. And then of course the knife gets taken, and you literally spit like. But like, the thing is, I almost wish they like. I'm aping Spoonie, because Spoonie already made this point. But I want to say it again. I agree with him because he made a point in his video about this, where he just said that, like, the knife is probably the best moment, and it's too bad they don't hold on it longer. Because the knife is gone for like 5 to 10 minutes. 5 to 10 minutes where I was literally sitting the entire time wondering, when the fuck is this knife gonna reappear? What if they dragged it out for 25 minutes? It probably would have been fucking unbearable, because I'd be sitting there thinking that there are people in here that don't remember the fucking knife. I remember the fucking knife. That knife's gonna show up, and I don't want it. Fuck that knife. And then the knife would just show up. But now I was prepared. Or like the movie dropped the knife, and after that I was like, huh, good. No more knife problem. And the movie never caught me again. Like I remember, like I was sitting there and the movie did jump scares. The problem with this movie is that this movie does jump scares more than the other movies. It relies almost completely on jump scares. And jump scares are not scary because if you're like me and you've played enough horror video games and watched enough fucking horror movies, which I'd say that I've done in my life, jump scares aren't scary anymore. Like they can be scary once or twice when the other movies try to do them like once or twice. People screamed when the jump scares appeared in this movie. I was literally sitting like this. Like stone face. I'm like sitting there like, that didn't work at all. Like, and again, the movie got creepy every once in a while and really got like unpleasant. Like there is the ending. The ending, which is, again, way too similar to the third one. Which has the, without saying too much, or actually saying too much, but I don't really fucking care. I've already told you it's similar to the third one, which makes you understand that the fucking main character runs into a house to look for someone else, and in the house, she runs into fucking scary people. And it's like, yeah, you know what? Fuck. This is exactly like the third one, only it's not the fucking boyfriend, it's the fucking teenage daughter. And for some reason, she's still holding her fucking camera phone up. Even when it gets to the point where, because she runs into Katie in this house, and again, I know I'm in spoiler territory now, but I don't care. Oh, that's why I shouldn't even have brought this movie up. She runs into Katie in this house, and she's already had suspicions throughout the entire movie that there's something wrong with Katie, and then she sees Katie turn into a fucking demon. Katie does the demon face, and when Katie does the demon face, she's still running around with the fucking phone out, like filming everything, and it's like, why are you filming this? This is not a fucking game. This fucking bitch is obviously possessed by a fucking demon. Oh god, it's so stupid. And we're gonna drop it there because I've already said too much. I don't want to say anymore. Just, if you've seen the movie, write me a comment and tell me if I'm right, tell me if I'm wrong, tell me why you liked it, why you didn't like it, and tell me even more specific because there are even more similarities between the endings. Especially, particularly like the third and the fourth one. And what do you think the fifth one should have? Did you stay for the fucking end sequence? Did you see the last thing? Which is nothing. It's like if the sequence was less than 20 seconds long. But did you see it? What do you think it means? If it means anything at all. And with that, we're dropping Paranormal Activity 4. It's not a necessary watch this Halloween, or any Halloween, I'd say. Okay, so let's go to the next one, which is, of course, without a doubt, Hotel Transylvania. I gotta say right off the bat, I was not looking forward to Hotel Transylvania. It was one of those movies I just felt like I needed to see because I love animated movies and I want to see all major animated films released every year just so I can compare them and say which one I like the most. And this movie did not even come close to competing with either Paranorman or Brave. If you just say it like this, you want to see a horror-themed animated movie that came out this year, you should watch Paranorman. If you want to see an anime, like, it's so funny how everything related to Henry Selick, essentially, like, okay, not James and the Giant Peach, but Henry Selick, the director of Nightmare Before Christmas, which is a great Halloween movie. I'd still consider it more a Christmas movie than a Halloween movie, but, you know, your mileage may vary. I won't fault anyone for getting an excuse to watch that fantastic movie. And I'm not being sarcastic. I have a fucking full theater-sized poster of that movie in my room. I love it. And I'm just kind of, you know, still pissed off that a lot of people don't know that Henry Selick made it. They think that it's a Tim Burton movie through and through. And granted, he's the producer and he wrote the story. He wrote the book that it's based on. So he had a huge influence on it, but it's not all him. And in fact, I would say even more than Night Before Christmas. For Halloween, you should watch Night Before Christmas on Christmas, and you should watch Henry Selick's other movie, Coraline, on Halloween. Because Coraline made me realize that I don't think that everything about Nightmare Before Christmas is solely on Tim Burton, because Henry Selick did an amazing job with Coraline, and in a lot of ways, it's actually superior to Nightmare Before Christmas, at least in creepiness, because that movie is fucking scary, like few animated movies have ever been. I'm gonna have to go get more water. Okay. So what am I trying to say here? Anyway, Hotel Transylvania is... It's also because I saw that all the trailers I saw for Hotel Transylvania before it came out were in Swedish. And that never works for me. Like, I can see a trailer of a movie I love in Swedish, and it makes me want to vomit. Like, really makes me want to vomit. And in fact, before Hotel Transylvania, I got to see a trailer for Wreck-It Ralph in Swedish, and that made me want to fucking gag. It's like... It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. I know that that's supposed to be John C. Reilly. I know that's supposed to be Sarah Silverman, and that's supposed to be Jane Lynch. It doesn't work when it's not them. I don't want to hear Zangief speak Swedish. It's bizarre to hear Zangief speak Swedish. Why is Zangief speaking Swedish in this trailer? Where's the Pac-Man ghost speaking Swedish? Okay. Sorry, I'm getting way off topic. As I told you, it's been a rough day. Fuck. Anyway, Hotel Transylvania is a movie about basically how Dracula, like monsters have stopped being mean to humans, but humans didn't get the memo, and humans are terrorizing or have terrorized and killed monsters to the point where Dracula built a hotel to protect monsters from humans. And the monsters are incredibly afraid of humans. Just like in Monsters, Inc. So, what happens is, like, they get together every year to have this big party weekend thing that coincides with Dracula's teenage daughter, or like, I guess teenage. She's 118 years old, which is apparently when you become grown up in the monster world, or at least when you're a vampire, with his 118-year-old daughter, Mavis, played by Selena Gomez. And the character of Mavis is probably the best thing about this movie. She's pretty interesting, even though she's kind of cookie-cutter in the whole way of being like, oh, I know, my dad is so overprotective. She still has some interesting moments to her. So yeah, 118-year-old daughter. And along with this, she wants to be let onto the real world. She wants her freedom, just like Merida wants her freedom, just like every Disney princess wants her fucking freedom, just like Rapunzel wants her freedom. I know, just how every fucking female character, apparently in every animated movie, all they want is to be fucking free. Just like back in the good old days, all they wanted to be was fucking married. And all they want to be is fucking free. Or free and married, or whatever the fuck. I'm pissed off. I'm so pissed off. This day's been so bad. So yeah. What happens is, Dracula stages this whole weird fucking contrived, elaborate way of trying to trick his daughter into not leaving the fucking home. He builds this fake village. Sorry. No holds barred today. I know I'm not drunk or high. I'm just tired and I'm pissed off. He builds this fake fucking village and tries to scare her into believe by dressing up the hotel zombie staff as villagers and make her believe that humans are all bad. They just want to fucking kill you. The problem is that his fake village actually attracts a real human who ends up at the fucking house, ends up at the castle called Hotel Transylvania, obviously. And he can't send the human away right away. And he can't let the people know, or let the monsters there know that it's a human, because they'll eat or they'll kill him, or all leave. Either they'll kill him, or they'll leave, or they'll kill him and then leave. So he dresses him up as a Frankenstein monster, calling him Johnny Stein, and like says that he's here to help plan your party. And of course, the fucking stupid human backpacker and Dracula's daughter fall in love. And there's my problem with this movie. Not the love thing. I love love. I'm a sucker for love. I watched the entire first season of Once Upon a Time based basically on the premise of every single episode either ending with a mother-daughter love, or a mother-son love between Jennifer Morrison and the little boy Henry. I don't know what his actor's name is anymore. If someone tells me, I'll know. Them standing around talking to each other. Or, of course, even more beautiful, me standing there going like, oh, like legitimately standing there like, it's so beautiful. Every time Prince Charming and Snow White stand around talking to each other, and every time the fucking concept of true love's kiss being thrown around, I'm sitting there with like my eyes like all like watery, like it's so beautiful. Like I'm a sucker for love. Love, love. Love is all I love. Love is all I care about. And I'm not even sure I know what love really is. I want you to show me. But anyway, I just wish that this movie would have had the balls to not try and be so Adam Sandler-y. Because Adam Sandler plays Dracula. And David Spade and Kevin James, like his entire grown-up friends are in this movie, except for like Chris Rock. And I don't think Rob Schneider's in this. But anyway, like a lot of Adam Sandler's friends have major parts in this movie, and they're not really bad. It's just that I wish this movie would have had more of a core to it, like a more dramatic core. Because at first glance, I didn't like Brave that much. I ended up loving Brave, actually having watched it a couple more times. But the first time I saw it, I didn't really like it as much as I hoped I would, because it was so filled with jokes. But I still really loved something about it, because there was a true conflict at the center that was between a mother and daughter not understanding each other. The lack of communication between parent and child. That was a very interesting and very well put together thing. And also, Brave has a physical realm. It's a physical world that feels like it has very set rules. Like if you look at, like I've been reading Neil Gabler's Disney biography. I'm still not done with it, but it does point out that how, unlike Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, who could pull off his limb, like Mickey, like Walt Disney's first creation, who could pull off his arms and his legs and use them as tools. Like I think Oswald could pull off his legs and use it as a boomerang to get things and get it back. Unlike all the other creations, the fucking main thing that Mickey Mouse did that was different in his early days was that Walt, along with Ub Iwerks, the guy who drew Mickey Mouse, knew that we need to apply real-world physics to this world. You can't just crush someone and grind them up and then have to pull them out like taffy. Like in the good old days. Felix the Cat being able to do all the weird things with himself, pull off their limbs and stuff, being all rubbery. They had to have some sort of real physics to them. There had to be something that made the characters feel real for you to care about them. Hotel Transylvania doesn't really have that. Like, there are scenes where, like, Dracula does things that are really cartoony. And, I mean, again, I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying that it's not for me. I did not like Hotel Transylvania because it had too little of what I value, what I cherish about animated films. Because if there's any sort of film I really love, it's probably animated films. And this had some of that, but not as much as I would have liked. Probably the best scene, or best moment in the... And yes, I'm going to ruin this for you. The best moment in the entire film is when it becomes clear that Johnny, as his name is not a monster, and he's a human. And at this point, the teenage daughter of Dracula, Mavis, has already fallen in love with him, and he has fallen in love with her. They explain it like it is true love at first sight. They call it zing. They zing when they look at each other. There's literally a moment where you see like their eyes turn pink, and you just, oh, they zinged. So yeah, they basically do the Taylor Lautner thing from Twilight, where they just like, oh, I know I love you. But they zing with each other. And then there's a moment when the big reveal comes that he's not a monster, and you think, oh my god, please tell me they're not going to go through with this whole, I can't believe you lied to me thing, and she just walks away and he has to win her back. And they don't. And I actually wanted to scream out yes in the movie theater, because what happens is, she does the face, and she's like, is it true? Are you human? He's like, yeah. And she just looks at him, she's like, I still want to be with you. And it's like, I'm like, that's beautiful! That's fucking beautiful! That's fucking great! A movie that directly just ignores the fucking mistake! It just ignores this whole this big fucking tease moment that all movies like this seem to have. Yeah, guess what? She still wants to be with him. Good. The problem is that then the movie results to having the final act, of course, is this whole, oh my god, we need to get to the airport before the plane leaves. Literally, it's an airport and a plane. It's like, oh no, we need to get to the airport before Johnny leaves and never comes back. And I'm sitting there like, why? You fucking skipped one cliche. Did you skip one cliche so you could overly rely on the other one? Oh. But, okay. I've been talking too much about this movie already. It feels like people that haven't seen the movie are probably not really getting anything out of this like little rant. Okay, what do I want to say? Like, there are some really funny parts about Hotel Transylvania, though. There's another moment, and I'm not going to go into this one specific, because I do actually think you should see this movie. Like, maybe not watching in the movie theater, but like, put it like this: next year around Halloween, I'll buy this movie. Sure, I'll buy this movie and I'll watch it. I'll watch it again. I'm not saying, maybe I said I didn't like it. I do not like it. I just feel like there are way better animated movies this year. But Hotel Transylvania, if one thing, towards the end of the movie, it made me want to go home and watch old school black and white Boris Karloff, Bela Lugosi, Lon Chaney Jr. horror movies. Like, watch the old classic Universal monster movies. And that is a really big achievement. Granted, I was already going to go home and watch them, but the movie made me be like, fucking yeah, I want to go home and watch these real movies. Watch Boris Karloff be Frankenstein. And that's a great thing for a movie to be able to accomplish, to make me really want to go home and see this. I'm just going to see how long I've been going. Oh my god, already 31 minutes in. So yeah, I like Hotel Transylvania. It's a really good-looking film. If anything, that's the major thing you should take away from it. It's really good-looking. I really, really like it. From a visual standpoint, at least. And it's not... It's just... It's too simple for me. Like, I did not laugh at many of the jokes. And the few jokes I laughed at, ironically, were the ones that the people around me were not laughing at. So, I guess I'm just out of touch, maybe. I felt like there were a lot of scenes where people, like slapstick moments, where a lot of people like, ah, 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 like really laughing their asses off. And I'm saying, like, that's not really funny. Like, I guess I just like verbal jokes more. I like verbal jokes more than I like physical ones. That's just who I am. And that's why I laughed at Ted so much, because Ted didn't rely that much on, like, it has both. Like, Ted had both, and that's why I thought Ted was so funny, because Ted actually managed to balance it out. Okay, but that's that. Now, so yeah, Hotel Transylvania is a movie I recommend, sort of, depending on your like, if you want to see an animated movie, go see it. It won't hurt you. It won't, like, it's 90 minutes. Both of these movies are short, like 90 minutes long, so I guess that's a positive thing about it. If you've seen the 3 other Paranormal Activity movies, I'm going to say maybe you should watch Paranormal Activity 4 just to say what you see. Like, okay, if you've seen the other 3, I'm guessing you're going to see the 4th one too. I'm almost going to say that I want to see the 4th one in the movie theater because I wanted to get the different experiences and watch the other 3 at home. And I found it the least creepy of the bunch by watching it with other people. So I'm going to say, maybe wait for this movie to come out and watch it at home in your living room with the windows, like with the blinds still up. Because that was the thing that makes these movies creepy for me, is leaving the blinds up so you know that someone could be standing outside watching you and you can't even see it. Sitting in your living room, sitting in your bedroom, whatever, with the blinds up, watching this movie in the dark. That's fucking frightening. So I'm going to say that. Watch Paranormal Activity 4, give it a whirl when you have a chance to watch it yourself or with your girlfriend at home where it's just the 2 of you or your friend or whatever you want to do. But yeah, Hotel Transylvania gets a slightly bigger endorsement from me. And if you're in Sweden, or you can somehow find the Swedish movie Bitch Hug, that movie gets a stronger endorsement than both of them out of me. And on Thursday I'll be going to see Skyfall, and I'm betting that's going to get a pretty good, strong recommendation because that movie's been getting crazy good reviews. And I don't even really like Bond, but I like Casino Royale, so people say that this movie's pretty much going to be like the true sequel to Casino Royale, and I'm like, bring it on. because I really like Casino Royale. It made me like Bond. I don't even like James Bond that much. But now we are here for the second feature. I'm going to throw out some movies that I don't have here. There are a couple of movies I don't have here that I'm going to say right off, just so you don't wonder whether they're not, or like whether they're not here. And a lot of people are going to be sad because this is not a countdown, but if you know that some of your favorites are not here, just on the word go, that might be a little disappointing. But I'm still going to say, I do not have any of the George A. Romero movies here. I'm going to admit, one of my biggest sins as a cineast, I've never seen the second half of Night of the Living Dead. And no, don't ask me why. I've got a Blu-ray copy of it. It's just never happened. I've seen the movie. I've tried several times, and then I've just realized that I'm not in the mood. Like, I guess because the movie's so hyped up that I always get to the point where like, I just can't like keep going because I don't feel like I'm in the mood where the movie I'm not in the mood the movie deserves for me to watch it. I basically get to the point where they find the people in the basement of the house, and then I just like stop. And I know the ending. And maybe that's also because I know how the movie ends, and that makes me feel like, why the fuck should I watch the movie? Like, not like that. I'm not that ignorant, but it's like, I'm not sure I want to watch this movie right now when I know how fucking badly all of this ends. But it's another reason, because I feel like Night of the Living Dead might be the most Halloween-y of those movies. I don't feel like the Dawn of the Dead is a horror movie that's in that way. Neither is Day of the Dead. I don't find those movies to be frightening. Therefore, they're not here. They're really good. Day of the Dead and Dawn of the Dead, and Zack Snyder's remake of Dawn of the Dead is still his best movie, if you ask me. They're terrific movies. Terrific movies, but they're not here also because, like, my movie I can only pull out a certain amount of movies because otherwise the entire, like, there are movies stacked on top of my fucking, on top of my rows. So if I pulled out too many movies, like, everything would implode and that would be really, really bad. So I just didn't. Yeah. Okay. Fuck. You know what? I'm not going to turn the camera off. I'm just going to run into my room, grab a few other movies, and grab myself some more water. I'll be right back. Hang on. I'll be right back. Coming right there now. Here I am. Crap. I realized I was missing a movie that cannot be ignored. And I grabbed two more because of it. Okay. Man, maybe I should have fucking sorted these. There are a lot of these movies that are fit together. Okay, I'm gonna bring out the movie that I find is like the least of a horror movie, but still needs to be mentioned. This is a movie that has been told to me that it was really bad and did not deserve to be watched by me, and I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it is a little bit of an overstatement, but I really, really like it. The 80s version of The Blob. I still think the original's better, if you want to say, but God, this movie has great gore. Great special effects. Watching this movie with my friends, like, I have a couple of friends who, they're not gore hounds, but they really love horror movies in general, and we were sitting there, and we were all saying, like, I'd seen this movie already. I was like, we're fucking watching this. I'm bringing this over, we're watching The Blob, and you're gonna love it. And they were like, we loved it. Yeah, you're right. That movie was fucking awesome. Like, this movie's, it's all about special effects. Like, charming, stupid 80s. Like, the first movie's charming 50s. This is charming 80s with crazy fucking special effects. Like, you know, like, as soon as the blob envelops your arm and, like, someone pulls a little too hard, you, like, loosen up and blood spurts out. It's disgusting in every way of the word. It's really, really good. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Yeah, let's try to go through this. Take these first movies in historical order. We have Nosferatu. In fact, I'm not gonna watch this tonight, I don't think, but I'm gonna put it on my TV in my room and I'm gonna sleep with this on. Because just being able to look at it every once in a while, this is a really, really creepy movie. One of the best damn horror movies ever made. One of the first ones as well. I do also own a copy of The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari that I'm not going to pull out because I have a German expressionist silent film era box set that I'm not going to pull out. But this movie is really, really good. If you love horror movies, you have to see this. This is the original. It's fantastic. I have to admit, I've only seen the last scene of the remake by Werner Herzog. I own it, have not seen it. I've seen Shadow of the Vampire, which is the fictionalized retelling of how they made the movie, where F.W. Murnau hired a real vampire to play the part. I like that, but of course nothing compares to the original version. If you just look here on the back, like the way they play with shadows, like this scene right here, like this particular image right here, is so frightening. Like very few images in horror movies have ever matched up to that. And then we get to one of my coolest new finds. Like the Blu-ray box set of the Universal Monsters Essential Collection. I have a collection with all of the movies, you know, all Wolfman movies, the original, or like, yeah, all the Frankenstein movies, you know, House of Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Son of Frankenstein, Ghost of Frankenstein, House of Frankenstein, Frankenstein versus the Wolfman, all that shit. And all the Dracula movies, Dracula's Daughter, Son of Dracula, all that. But these are the essentials. Like, except for one movie that is really, really missing here, which is, of course, Son of Frankenstein. This is essentially the movies you really, really need to see. It is Dracula, Frankenstein the Mummy, The Invisible Man, Bride of Frankenstein, The Wolfman, Phantom of the Opera, and Creature from the Black Lagoon. So, some terrific movies. This even has a 3D Blu-ray version of Creature from the Black Lagoon, which I've yet to partake in, but I will definitely watch. I love this set. Great special features. For some reason, the European version is missing one commentary track from, like, Dracula or something. One of these movies has a commentary track, but except for that, it's an amazing fucking accomplishment. The movies look gorgeous. Oh yeah, the Spanish version of Dracula is on here too. Obviously, it's restored as well. Like they hardly advertise it. Like that is kind of retarded. That movie is so unknown and unimportant that it's literally only written as like on a special features thing right here. It's like English and Spanish versions. Like most people, like I didn't even really understand until I had it told to me by James Rolfe, the angry video game nerd. Until I have it explained by him what it was. So it's like, English and Spanish version, doesn't that just make you think that it's an audio version? Like that they've just dubbed it? Not that it's an entirely different movie? By the way, the Spanish lead, Lupita Tovar, she's still alive! And keep in mind, this movie was made in 1931! And she's still alive! She's 102 years old! Oh yeah. So yeah. Now we're just going through all these. We're going to go through all these. This video is going to be like an hour long. I'm going to try and like keep it short. But this is the movie I went into my room to get because this movie you cannot talk. Like this movie should be seen by everyone. This is my double feature. Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein and Abbott and Costello meet the Mummy. I have not seen Abbott and Costello meet the Mummy. I'm probably going to leave this out and try to watch it. But Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein is one of the funniest movies I have ever seen in my life. No joke. I remember watching this movie thinking that it was just going to be kind of stupid. And it's stupid, alright. But it is so funny. I was sitting in my living room by myself, laughing my ass off. That's how fun this movie is. Oh, I need to rewatch it. I need to rewatch this movie. I don't even have much more to say about it, but this is also because it says Frankenstein, and it makes you think that it's just Frankenstein, but no. This is like, Bela Lugosi only played, on film, only played Dracula twice. One of them was Dracula, and the other was this. And, yeah, he played Dracula twice, and one of them was this. No official sequel, but I think this is actually supposed to sort of be like an official, like part of the canon or something. But see, Bela Lugosi is Dracula, the monster, like I said, the Frankenstein's monster is played by Glenn Strange, and of course, Lon Chaney Jr. is the Wolfman. It has the monsters. It's so great. Fuck me. I missed another movie that I shouldn't have missed. I'm not going to go get it. I'm just going to say, and this is probably going to happen a couple of more times during this video, The Monster Squad. The Monster Squad. You should probably watch The Monster Squad during this month. The Monster Squad is an 80s movie where a bunch of kids somehow the monsters, like all the classic Universal monsters, become real. And the Monster Squad, which is a bunch of kids that love horror movies sitting up in a treehouse, end up realizing they have to save the world, or save the world from these monsters. And it's just really, really fun and scary because, you know, Dracula shows up, the Wolfman, the Mummy, I think the Mummy's in it, I'm not sure, but yeah, Frankenstein, the Wolfman, the creature on the Black Lagoon, Dracula. It's scary and it's really fun. It's kind of, think Goonies with monsters. In fact, the inside of my DVD has a slip on it, which is like a poster from like the movies, like when the movie first came out, I guess, where it's like, you know who to call when you have ghosts, but who do you call when you have monsters? Goofy, corny, but really beautiful 80s movie. Yeah, so let's get through this. I have 3 modern day vampire movies here. I think, like, vampire movies suck. These 3 movies I have here, except for, like, which is kind of weird because I've already held up Dracula and Nosferatu and talked about how much I love them. But in general, I don't like vampire movies. Of course, Twilight shit, we all know that. I don't really like Interview with a Vampire that much. I don't think it's bad either, I just don't like it. I think that Bram Stoker's Dracula by Francis Ford Coppola is shit. I don't know, I guess the whole thing about vampires just being these horny, evil creatures that just want to fuck the crap out of everything that moves, not appealing to me. Here I have 3 movies that I do really love, though, and 2 of them are kind of cheating because they're based on the same book. It is Let the Right One In, which is probably the best Swedish movie made in like the past 10 years. At least the best Swedish movie that I've seen in the past 10 years. I really love this movie, I think it's great. Which is about a young kid who is bullied, who befriends this vampire girl, or vampire boy turned girl. And then, of course, the other movie is the American remake, which is sorely unappreciated, Let Me In, by Matt Reeves, the director of Cloverfield, who is now... What the fuck is it Matt Reeves is directing now? Matt Reeves has been... I don't remember right off the bat, but Matt Reeves has been put in charge of directing something that I'm really excited about. Obviously not excited enough, since I don't remember what it is what he's been put in charge of. But anyway, I just really, I'm actually gonna have to look this up on Wikipedia when I talk. I really, really like. See, this is gonna be the worst video ever, but I promise I'm gonna post this, even though it's gonna be shit, because it's better than not posting anything at all. And that's why I make these vlogs, because it's kind of fun to just be off the hook. Let's see here. Alright, he's directing the sequel to Planet of the Apes! That's what he's doing? I never would have got that unless I read it off Wikipedia. Anyway. Pick these back up. This movie, visceral, raw, and feels real. It has a weight to it that I feel very few horror movies really have. It feels real. It has a pacing that is really bizarre and really effective. The American one is a little more streamlined, a little faster. The production values are up, which I kind of feel almost hurt it a little bit. Just a little bit. But I always like to say that even though I think this is by far, not by far, but this is the better movie, like, I would say, at least clearly the better movie. Like, I would not even really argue I feel this is the better movie. This is probably the one I'd most likely pop in and rewatch, because this movie's easier to watch because it feels less real. But this one's still better. Either way, really, 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 and recommend both of these, both the American and Swedish version. I mean, come on, Chloe Grace Moretz. How can you not love this girl? And even what's the name of the kid? Like the name of the guy? Yeah, Cody Smith McPhee, who is the voice of Paranorman. If you just want to like pull it back, and Elias Koteas, you know, Casey Jones from the Ninja Turtles. That's always going to be to me. It's 3 really great actors in the lead roles. I really, really like that. But there is another movie that is really, really stupid, a really stupid vampire movie that I also love. And this is a remake. This is a remake. One of the few remakes that I will pull up and saying is better than the original is the remake from last year of Fright Night. Can you really see like this you know, this awesome like changing cover thing? Wow, this is a terrible like lithograph or whatever it's called, but it's a really great movie. This is probably my favorite of the bunch. It's not as good as the other movies, I can say, but this movie right off is fun. Stupid old fun, and it's better than the 80s version, and I like the 80s version of Fright Night as well, which has one of the best, like, I would almost want the 80s version of Fright Night, I would want that poster on my wall. Fright Night is, actually, do I even need to, I'm not even going to explain Fright Night again, because I know that I posted a review of Fright Night. Go back and watch that. If you want to know why I think Fright Night is awesome, in fact, I'd probably say that I probably like my appreciation of Fright Night, my understanding of how stupid it is has definitely grown since I've made that video. With a lot of videos, like your initial thoughts on a movie change the further on, like the more you think about them. I've watched Fright Night like 4 times now, and I love it. I still love it. It's stupid, but I really love it. I think Colin Farrell is a really intimidating vampire. I think that Anton Yelchin does a really good job as being the everyman hero who's kind of annoying, but you understand where he's coming from because you're kind of annoying and stupid, just like he is. I think that even though maybe Imogen Poots needs to eat a sandwich because he's a little too skinny, she's really, really pretty and really, really cute, and she has the right amount of sass. She's a way better Amy than, you know, what's her name? Marcy, the woman who plays Marcy in Married with Children. It's just in every way, maybe it's just because the times are different, but I feel like I think this movie will hold up better in some ways. At least character-wise, this movie will hold up better than the 80s version. Probably not special effects-wise, because the original's ending is amazing with the weird special effects that are physical. This is just computer-generated. But still, watch the remake of Fright Night, or if that's not your cup of tea, if you want to watch something that's a little more real, like the visuals look a little more real, watch the original. And while I'm talking about like another movie, we're talking about movies that have special effects that are like, you know, more real and like they're not computer generated. Watch The Thing. Do not watch the remake of The Thing. Watch the original of The Thing. Or like, I mean, the original John Carpenter Thing. That movie has the best special effects of like almost any movie ever. Now I'm bringing up a new hand. A movie that I first watched myself a couple of months ago, but is truly amazing, is Dario Argento, and I've heard by most people say that it is Dario Argento's masterpiece, although I can't really say, because it is also the only Dario Argento movie I have seen. I have like one more, but this, Suspiria. Holy crap, like I don't even know what to say about this movie. I'm not even going to say a whole lot more, because let's face it, first of all, we're almost an hour in. I gotta hurry up to hurry this up because I gotta go to bed. My eyes are. I'm starting to basically mutter because I'm getting so tired. This movie, if anything, this movie is really, really frightening. And best of all, this movie is like the color schemes in this movie almost alone warrant watching it because it's so bizarre. Like if you just look at the back of the box here, see that there's blue and red. The color red is used to such great effect in this movie. Like it will make you feel smart. You'll feel smart watching this movie. Like, oh, I'm seeing all these unintended things. When you realize when the director's really trying to beat you over the head with the color red is bad in this movie, and you're going to get it. still a really beautiful movie, despite, ironically, being about terrible, terrible deaths in a sorority house. It's really, really good. Yeah. The original Christopher Lee Dracula. It's Dracula. Fuck, I've got so many vampire movies here. Want to bet I have more I have another vampire movie here. Like literally, like 2 rows down. Anyway, Dracula, really good. I have a whole Hammer box set that I didn't bring out. That's the first Dracula with Christopher Lee. This movie's bad, but it's a vampire movie that I had to bring out. The Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires. Kung Fu vampire action. Yeah. This is a thing that I own. Sadly, Christopher Lee is not in this. It's a Hammer movie, but he's... What is it? It's a Hammer movie and a Shaw Brothers movie, but Christopher Lee is not Dracula in it. But it's a pretty enjoyable movie to watch if you just want to see something stupid. Also, I do not have that here, but you should watch the original Frankenstein by Hammer. It's really interesting. The Ring, the American version, Ring 1 and 2. I haven't seen 2. Maybe that's what I should watch tomorrow, like, or something. Gotta be really, really cheap. I've seen the original Ring. This is pretty creepy. I'm almost excited to rewatch these. I've almost brought these out more on the hope that I'm going to rewatch them because I haven't seen the original Ring in so long, or like the American Ring. I haven't seen Ringu at all. But Gore Verbinski, man. This is what Gore Verbinski did before he made Pirates of the Caribbean. It's kind of weird. I'm pretty sure this is Gore Verbinski. I'm not crazy, am I? I'm going to pull the fucking plastic off here. I just need to check this. And sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm a little fucked up right now. Let's see here. I just gotta know. Like, I am literally like 99% sure that Gore Verbinski's in this, isn't he? Gore Verbinski made, yeah, directed by Gore Verbinski. He did not direct the second one, did he? Oh wow, they got a Japanese person to direct the remake, direct the sequel to the remake. No, but yeah, Gore Verbinski. Really good. This is a mixture of bad... You probably don't have to watch fucking Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires at Halloween. I don't even know why I brought that movie out. Basically, this should be another like installment of shitty movies I own that I don't have a reason to own. This is another movie, but I really love it. Teeth. This movie's about Dawn, who's a virgin, who has a very unique condition known as vagina dentata. She has teeth in her vagina that can bite off your penis if she doesn't want it in there. This movie's amazing. And I'm gonna leave it at that. Watch Teeth. Just look at this cover. Look at that. Look at this cover and tell me you don't want to see teeth. Okay. This is like a collection of 3 movies that I feel everyone should have seen at least once. You should have seen all 3 of these movies. The original Friday the 13th is obviously the one that is the most ridiculous of the ones. I especially feel like these are the 2 movies that you should absolutely have seen, Poltergeist and The Exorcist. But you should see the first Friday the 13th as well. It's actually a good movie. I like it. But I'm the kind of guy. I love fantastic movies. I pulled out a copy of Nosferatu. Nosferatu's an amazing movie. It's a silent movie. But I also love crap. I love crap. I do. Which is kind of weird because I'm not holding any crap movies right now. I'm holding Reanimator, which is a bizarre, weird cult movie, which has a lot of special features on it that I should see. It's a weird Frankenstein-like story. I'm not going to go into great detail about it because I'm too tired right now. The original Wicker Man, I have the remake as well, but that movie's terrible. This movie's really bizarre. It's about a police officer that's investigating a supposed kidnapping or like disappearance on an island, and it gets sucked into this weird, like the townspeople's weird attitudes and the way they. it's a bizarre movie that's like basically about a cult of demons and shit. Like, the thing is, the cop is very religious, and he gets to this island that is basically filled with all these occult people that are like basically sinners and heathens. And even though I don't believe in God, it's still really, really creepy because they never really confirm if the God, like, if gods, like the heathen gods that these people believe in are real or not. It doesn't really matter because in the end, people want to do fucked up shit. They'll do fucked up shit even if they can't confirm that the god they're doing it to is real. I mean, look at every single war fought by men that isn't based around oil. Here are two amazingly they're not underrated because the people that know them love them, but Cat People and Curse of the Cat People. Both of these movies are fantastic, and especially Curse of the Cat People, I remember loving. This, and the thing is, Cat People is a horror movie. I probably shouldn't even be recommending you watch Curse of the Cat People, because it's ironic how this is a horror movie, this one's not. This is not a horror movie, but it's still really, really good. I really love Curse of the Cat People. Like, but I'm just not even going to say a whole lot more. These movies are historically important movies that I really, really love. You should watch both Cat People and Curse of the Cat People. I think these are really, really short as well. Let's see here. I'm just going to try and find the length. Yeah, Cat People, 73 minutes. Curse of the Cat People, 70 minutes. So you get through both of those movies basically in the time it would take to watch one ordinary movie. Which is terrific because they're both fantastic. I didn't really even need to bring this out because I already have shown the first movie in the series. You should at least watch one Friday the 13th movie this year, like at Halloween. I say either part 1, part 4, or part 6. Part 6 is retardedly bad, but both me and my friends have a really, 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 like, we have a strong love for it. The original is pretty good, but it's I think the fourth one with Corey Feldman is probably the most, like, it's the first movie that actually tries to change it up. Basically, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4 are pretty good. 5 is bad, like terrible. Number 6 is fucking awful, but in a good way. It's so bad it's good. It's fun. Number 7 is god-awful. Parts number 8, where Jason Goes to Manhattan, are great, but overall that movie's kind of terrible. Part 9 is bizarre, and Jason X is amazing. So yeah, that's my entire summary of the Friday the 13th series. And a lot of people are going like, you're a fucking guy who talks about, like, really highbrow movies sometimes. You have this weird dark side where you watch terrible fucking horror movies. And yeah, I do. Like, I'm one of those guys. I feel that you should be able to watch anything really interesting, anything really good, even if it's a horror movie. Because a lot of people will say that horror movies are all shit, and if you say that, you're a fucking idiot, because there are a lot of really good horror movies out there. Such as Scream. I mean, like, I think that Scream has been talked about so much. Like, in later years, I think this movie's not, like, there's a backlash against this movie. Like, the thing about horror movies is that the cliches are so cliched that people forget where the cliches came from. And like with Scream, you know, pays tribute to the cliches and sort of breaks the cliches by bringing them up and making it like the movie being aware of the cliches. And somehow this movie started a wave of movies that were aware of the cliches, and therefore this movie has gotten like sort of bashed by people now, or a lot of people I have heard from, because they don't remember that this is where it all started. Like, a lot of people don't even, like, give movies respect as being historically important for starting things. They just, you know, say, oh, it's just another one of those. Like, no, this is the first movie that did that, pretty much. I love this movie. It's one of my favorite horror movies. It's actually probably one of my favorite movies, period. God, I love Scream. I've probably seen this movie over 25 times. Love it. It's keeping with Wes Craven, Nightmare on Elm Street. Watch the first one and the third one. Whatever you do, don't watch the second, fourth, or fifth, or, okay, maybe watch the sixth one because that was awful but funny, but don't watch 2, 4, and 5. And I don't even like New Nightmare that much. But watch number 1 and number 3 of this series. They're awesome! Hell, maybe even watch the remake, just because it's kind of ironic, because it has Rooney Mara in it. I mean, Katie Cassidy. It has people that are probably going to grow up to do a whole lot more interesting shit than the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street, not Nightmare Before Christmas. Okay, then we have, I don't know which one of these I'm going to start with. I'm going to start with a little more obvious one, just so like we have at least something that's a little more obscure to end with. I think if there are any movies I've forgotten to mention. Movies I haven't got here. Videodrome, which is a crazy fucking David Cronenberg movie where James Woods watches a lot of terrible, violent TV and then gets a weird vagina that he stores guns in his stomach because the TV starts changing him. Another David Cronenberg movie, The Brood, which is about this weird group of, not the zombie children, but something like that, that go around killing people. An American Werewolf in London. Did you see that? Now I'm just trying to go off the top of my head movies I've forgotten here. And you see what I'm holding here. What else? Don't watch Rob Zombie's Halloween, and especially don't watch Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, because that movie is one of the worst fucking things ever. I think I'm blanking. Those are the movies I can come think of. And then we have my all-time favorite horror movie. Oh, watch Psycho. I should have brought Psycho, I just didn't. Halloween. Not the first slasher movie out there, but it's a really, like, it's not the first one, but it's probably the first one to legitimately be able to just straight up, just, I don't even know how to say it. It's just, it does what it does so well. It's before Friday the 13th, before Nightmare on Elm Street. This movie doesn't even have any blood. A lot of people forget that the original Halloween does not really even have blood. It's just a freaky, scary story with this really simple, like, almost no-note horror thing. Like, but like the score is so perfect. Like, the pacing is so perfect. The setting is so perfect. And again, just like with Scream, this movie is getting a lot of hate these days. Not hate, but a lot of people just shrug. They don't really understand what it is, because they don't see it from a historical perspective how totally frightening this movie really is. There's something incredibly frightening. Like, when I think of a horror character standing outside my windows waiting to kill me, it's not Freddy, although he's terrifying. It's not Jason. I don't find Jason terrifying at all. It's Michael. It's this goddamn fucking mask. This is the scariest one of them all. Because, or at least, like, if you think of him in the context of the first one. Specifically the first one. Because in that movie, he's fucking terrifying. He doesn't say anything, he doesn't do anything except walk around and killing people mercilessly. This is the all-time best horror movie. Like, at least it's the best slasher movie. My favorite horror movie. I love this movie so much. And again, just like with Scream, I swear I've seen this movie over 30 times. It must be over 30 times. I've seen this movie so much, I basically know every line in it. But that was when I was younger, so I've started to forget lines, which is actually pretty good, because that means that when I watch the movie now, when I've grown up a little bit, like I also seen Scream 2. I say watch Scream 1, 2, 3, 4, but if you haven't seen all the Scream movies, watch them all. Especially watch the first two, because the first two are great films. A lot of people will say Scream 2 is not. I don't understand what you're talking about. Scream 2 is really, really good. And if you've seen them before and you feel like rewatching some of them, watch 1, 2, and 4. Do not watch 3. 3 is unnecessary. But it's kind of funny because Scream 2 I watched at least 15, 20 times when I was 14. And I did not know all the references. Now when I was watching Scream 2, now when I'm an adult, I'm sitting there like, huh, I get this now. God, I know a lot more now. It's like, Jane Seymour. I know who Jane Seymour is. I didn't know who that was. I know what Dr. Quinn was, but I didn't know who Jane Seymour was. Candyman's daughter. I've seen Candyman. I don't like it that much. Okay, yeah. Anyway, so Halloween, if you want to watch Halloween movies, watch Halloween, the first one, possibly watch Halloween 2. I don't even know if you're supposed to do that at this point. you could be good. You could be good. Like I guess it's like if you watch the first one and you feel like you want more, if you want to go down the rabbit hole, watch 2, and then jump to Halloween 20 years later, and then stop. If you you could watch Halloween 3. That movie's terrible, but it's funny and really fascinating. It doesn't have Michael Myers in it at all, but it's really, really funny and interesting because it tries to do something that's bizarre but different. Don't watch... Again, if you really, really want to and you really, really have time, watch Halloween 4, because I have a really real affinity for that one. But like if you watch Halloween 4, you're pretty much compelled to watch 5 and 6 too, and Halloween 5 and Halloween 6 are unforgivably bad. The only really redeeming thing about Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, is how that the ending becomes such a violent mess. It's almost one of the few things that really unsettles me to this day, and that's not in a good way really. It's just like, ew, why are they so over the top and violent and killing people? And also that Paul Rudd is the main character and he's awful. It's kind of funny that even a guy like me who's had a really bad day in school can know that, guess what? Paul Rudd got better, that means I can get better too. But yeah, watch Halloween. I guess before I bring out the last one, I should just say movies that you need to watch if you're a horror enthusiast in any way. Before like every year at Halloween, you should watch. I'm going to do this video for Christmas as well because I have a ton of Christmas movies. That's why Black Christmas is not on here, and like April Fool's Day is not on here, Happy Birthday to Me is not on here because that movie's awful, but April Fool's Day is not on here because you should watch that on April Fool's Day. My Bloody Valentine, the original, you should watch on Valentine's Day, obviously. It's better than any Valentine's-themed romantic comedy is. And Black Christmas on Christmas. So those movies are not on here because of that reason. Child's Play is not on here because I don't feel we should watch that. Leprechaun, no. But you should watch at least the original Halloween should be seen. The first Nightmare on Elm Street, alternatively the third one, but probably the first one. The first Nightmare, the first Halloween, one Jason movie probably. Then you should watch at least like one. You should probably watch at least one Universal classic movie. I'm gonna say that you should watch at least 3, and those 3 are most likely. Those movies are Bride of Frankenstein, Dracula, and The Wolfman. Alternatively, The Invisible Man, but I'm going to say The Wolfman. And then watch Abbott and Costello. Watch Abbott and Costello because that movie's fucking hilarious. And I think that's pretty much it. All the movies I brought up are movies I feel that should definitely be considered to be watched. They're fantastic. There are tons of other movies that I should have brought out. In fact, I should have I been smart, I should have just taken this camera into my room and run it across my bookshelf and show you should watch Dusk Till Dawn 1. But it also feels like I have a lot of movies in there I'm embarrassed to show. I don't want you to see that I own them. Like, oh, why do you own The Hills of Eyes 2? Like the remake. I own that on Blu-ray. That movie's awful. It's fucking terrible. And I need to stop. I need to go to bed, man. I'm an hour in, and I've just been talking about all these movies that no one's gonna watch. But at least now you know I've got my 2 cents. You know what movies I recommend for Halloween. I think that's all. If there's not, I will probably throw some movies into the comment section, or throw them in the description and say, yo, these are the movies I forgot that you should definitely check out. Like Drag Me to Hell, maybe, but again, I'm trying to be essential here, and I pulled out some of the essential movies. Some Hammer movies, Halloween, as I said, like plenty of times, Poltergeist, Exorcist, the original Omen. I did not pull that out because that would have fucking collapsed my entire shelf. The original Omen is a great movie. Oh god, I gotta stop. Like Night of the Hunter. See, I'm just rambling movies now. Night of the Hunter isn't even a horror movie in the classic sense, but it is a terrifying movie about a guy who's trying to get some kids. Oh, and I forgot, I have one more movie that I haven't even talked about. The last movie that I was going to bring out, which is a little, like, it is a really good movie. It's not as good as Halloween, but it is a Halloween-themed horror movie. That is Trick or Treat by Michael Dougherty. It's an anthology story. Oh, Creepshow. I forgot Creepshow as well. Creepshow. This is sort of like Creepshow, except every single one is related to Halloween, and they all interweave. It's about a little town where a bunch of people, like different people celebrate Halloween. It's an interesting story. It's not really that great. It's just, it has the right Halloween. It manages to capture the Halloween vibe, at least what I consider to be the Halloween vibe, being a guy who lives in Sweden and doesn't really have Halloween around him. This is what I want to see Halloween be when I try to somehow recapture that. So yeah, I'm not even going to say so much more about that. I'm going to leave it with Trick or Treat, saying that is a movie you should see. Trick or Treat, Halloween, and of course, the last thing, and again, this is going to be the last thing. It's The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. That's the last thing. I'm going to leave you with It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, Halloween, some Wes Craven horror movies, some Friday the 13th, some old horror Universal classics, all that stuff. Thank you for listening to me ramble. I'll post a proper review of something eventually. Otherwise, I'll see you around Christmas, where I'll at least post that Christmas video about the movies I think you should watch. I'm going to go to bed now, so I can do a better job in school tomorrow. Peace, guys.